When you're lost in the darkness, look for the pod. Specifically, the Prestige TV podcast on the Ringer Podcast Network, where we're breaking down every new episode of HBO's The Last of Us. On Sunday nights, grab your battery and join Van Lathan and Charles Holmes for an instant reaction to the latest episode.
Then head back to the QZ on Tuesdays for a deep dive with Joanna Robinson and Mallory Rubin. From character arcs to video game adaptation choices, story themes to needle drops, we'll parse every inch of this cordyceps-coated universe. Watch out for mouth tendrils and follow along on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. All right, it's official. I think I've discovered the ultimate coupling of all time. Like any good relationship, they really balance each other out. One is super sweet, and the other, well, they can be a little nutty sometimes. It is, of course, Reese's Peanut Butter Cups, the perfect combination of peanut butter and chocolate. So perfect, some would call it true love. Find Reese's now at a store near you. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. Welcome to Bachelor Party. I'm Juliet Littman. Today, I have two guests with me. It's a pretty special occasion. There's a lot of buildup to this very important podcast. And by a lot of buildup, I mean among the three of us and one of our guest husbands. I am delighted to welcome Rachel Platten and Melanie Platten to Bachelor Party.
Hey.
I'm about to say hey ladies, but felt so old and gross.
Hey ladies, I'm a lady.
And then I was going to say hey women, and that's really weird too. So hi guys, welcome to the pod.
Hi ladies. You guys, I just want to go ahead and clarify before we start talking and you get overwhelmed.
Identify yourself.
Yeah, I am Rachel, and we sound very similar, and we recognize that, and we're going to do our best to differentiate ourselves. I will try to talk in a higher tone.
And I'm going to try to take the alto. We sound very similar.
All right, so Rachel, you've been on this pod before. You also may know Rachel from her new single, Girls, or her old single, Fight Song, or many other ways. I have to say, I was thinking about my favorite Rachel Platten song, and I think it's Soldiers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Juliet.
I love it.
Old
Thank
school.
you so much. No, I mean, it's just, what a unique take.
I just think it's really beautiful. I don't know.
Thank you so much.
It's just a great song. And Melanie was introduced to me by Rachel after Rachel appeared on my podcast a few years ago, because Melanie is probably the most avid reality TV watcher I've ever encountered. Melanie, welcome.
I don't know if that's a compliment or an insult based on the fact that you do this for like a living. So the fact that I watch so much reality TV.
Well, you just you know no bounds. Like you do Love Island, you do Dance Moms. Like, are you watching 90 Day Fiance, Married at First Sight?
No,
Okay, so
but
the low deck, probably.
Low Deck, Dance Moms.
Yeah.
All of the Housewives, Big Brother, Survivor, all of them.
You know, I'm going to have to offline with you. I want to get into Big Brother, and I need you to recommend some seasons for me to watch.
You haven't watched Big Brother?
No, never.
What?
I know.
Oh my gosh, I'm so much. Is there overlap from the challenge?
Yes, Josh Martinez, Public Enemy number one. He's a Big Brother
How
guy.
have you not watched Big Brother?
There's so much Big Brother on the challenge. In fact, there's the Big Brother Alliance.
Right. Josh.
So many. Casey.
Yeah,
Melanie,
wow.
So far, you've just mentioned Josh, which makes me believe you might not actually be an avid Big Brother.
No, I am. I don't know the name. I'm a face girl, so it's hard for me to remember the names right off off the top of my head, like Juliet. But I can't. I'm still just in shock that you haven't watched Big Brother.
I know. Well, now after I went back and I watched Love Island UK season 3, and my life has forever changed. It's sort of like the song from Wicked. Like, I've been changed for the better. I've been changed for the better by Love Island.
Or worse, because now you can't go back to any reality.
You guys, I don't know what you're talking about. Last night, in honor and respect of you two, because you're psychotic on our text thread about Love Island, I didn't want to be like the loser here. So I committed 2.5 hours of my life last night to like watching Love Island. Kevin was horrified watching Love Island. I sat there alone and I fast forwarded a little bit. Let me tell you, season 3, like Juliet recommended.
But was it UK?
UK, obviously. UK season 3, like Juliet said. I'm on episode 10. Maybe it was 4 hours I watched.
Wow. Good for you. That's impressive. And you're not hooked.
I just feel like I want to know why you guys are.
What?
Let's come back to that at the end. We've gathered here today to discuss The Bachelor. We'll come back to it. I understand. It took me a minute, Rachel, but now, honestly, like, I think about Chris from Love Island all the time, like every day. I really miss him. I hope he's having a good day. Anyway, we're here to talk about The Bachelor, Bachelorette, and I just need to share one other thing about our group chat. It's called #PrettyGirls, which is a reference to The Circle season 1. So there you have it, everybody. All right, Bachelorette, Melanie, what is your first impression of Charity?
I love her.
I like her too.
Love her. Beautiful, charismatic, smart. I think she's a fabulous Bachelorette, and we've been waiting for her. I love her. I think she's going to do well. I think she's going to make it boring. That's how good she is. Like, I think she's so equipped for this position, and I think the season's almost going to be boring because we'll get into that. But the fact that they teased right off the bat her brother,
I know,
was upsetting because the show tease is supposed to be like the hook, right? And the only thing to tease was the brother coming. But she talked about it on a Refinery 29 commercial or ad or interview. And so I'm like, she's already talked about it. It's not a hook. We know he's coming on, and then they tease it on the show, and that just, to me, it just set the tone.
It's a good point. I also noticed in the tease, there's a lot of like tropics, and I know they went to Fiji at some point, and I'm like, oh, so are they just showing a lot of stuff far ahead because nothing really gets good until then? So I share that concern, but I also agree. Like, she is very good at this. Like, she's poised. She is stunning, which, you know, I feel bad when I'm like, she's a good Bachelorette because she's pretty, but it's part of it, you know? Let's be honest. Rachel, where are you at on Charity?
Absolutely same take. I think she's fantastic. I also watched it with my mom, who was delighted by her.
Really?
And yeah,
is she a reality fan as well?
Not at all, but we have had a history of, I also want to explain and say up front, I came to the Bachelorette franchise pretty late. So I know that you have said it's not gotten good. It's not been good the last like 4 or 5 years ish. That's actually when I started. So I have no reference of when it was good. I think it's great.
Who was your first Bachelorette or your first Bachelor?
Oh, it's a great question. I feel like it was, I went on his podcast, Nick.
Oh,
Nick.
Yeah, that was your first season? Wow.
I was pregnant and very pregnant, and I had nothing to do, and I just dove all the way in. And I was like, and I was like,
you alive? I feel like he could have eaten you alive. He was probably like, right? Because like, I feel like he was probably asking like really, really like gritty questions, and like you were probably like, I don't know, crystals.
I actually, at the time, that was 100%. Like, I was way more LA at the time. Since I've come back towards the middle, thank God my East Coast family is so relieved. But like, I took a deep foray into like the LA nonsense for a while. And when I was on there, I was like, I think we need to do a breathing exercise. And I think he was like, let's never have her on again.
Yeah, he definitely made fun of you.
Yeah. He was sweet.
He's a nice guy, yes.
Yeah.
And also his podcast is very popular now. But at the time, he also was like very into, remember the phase with like oil diffusers?
That's it. That's why we talked about breathing. Sorry, wow, I need to really relax and step back from the microphone. That's it. I was like, you like oils, I like crystals. We're the same kind of people. And since I have really moved back towards the middle, but like, so I felt like we were really connecting. And I think I took it a step maybe too far, I dare say. When I suggested a meditation.
Juliet, did you like him when he was on his season? Because I hated him on his season.
No. I mean, I thought that he seemed really over it. I think when Nick is not into something, it's very evident. And he was definitely not into many of the women on his season.
No, but what about when he was a contestant? Oh.
Which time?
No, the first time. I didn't even like him the first time when he was like new, fresh blood. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we used to call him Normcore Nick on my podcast back then. We were just like, who's this Normcore guy from Wisconsin? But
you guys have so much knowledge. It's beautiful.
Thank you so much. You know, I'm just glad I found you guys. I feel really lucky. Who would you give your first impression rose to if you were Charity? Because she gave it to Brayden. And I found that shocking because
I
Brayden
was shocked.
obviously sucks. And Nehemiah knows it and she didn't listen. So I'm concerned about her picker.
I want to say, sorry, Melanie, I feel like you probably have a better take, but I just want to say that I don't think that Brayden sucks. I thought he was genuinely really just excited about their kiss. I didn't think that he was like bragging, although I don't know what happened off camera, like that they edited out that Nehemiah heard that we didn't. But from my take, my mom and I were just like, it could have been that my mom was like very like, oh, what a tender-hearted boy. He's just so excited and innocently excited. And so I kind of felt like Nehemiah was being a little hard on him. But I did not think that she had the strongest connection with him. I was surprised about that.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Rachel. I know that he's kind of douchey because when you watch like going forward and some of like the previews, you see that like apparently like they don't like him and he's a douche. But I agree with you. I was kind of like, why is everybody so upset with him? He was just excited and enthusiastic.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of mean of Charity to like play with him like that. I didn't understand. He was like, Nehemiah was like, do you think you could get the first impression rose? And he was like, yes, I think I could. And he was like, ha, you have a big ego.
Okay.
All right. Aaron B.
It's tough. Yes. He played the piano. As a musician, how did that land for you, Rach?
Oh my God. I have so much to say about that. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm so glad I didn't miss that. He was like, first of all, I do support him and I liked him a lot, but he was like, do you see how I just like improv that on the spot? He's like, I went high and then I went low. That's not a thing. Like he definitely did not improv that on the spot. He 100%. I'm sorry, Aaron, if you did, and I'm wrong, but I felt like he rehearsed that, which I would have rehearsed it meticulously.
Obviously.
Yeah. But
you gotta make a good first impression. You're on TV. You better rehearse, bro.
But did you hear him be like, at the end, he was like trying to insist on it. He was like, I just made that up. Can you even believe it? And she was like, moving on. And he was like, because I played high and then I went low. And that was his argument of why he improv'd it.
It was 3 seconds long. It was so awkward. It like started and ended in the same sentence. It was like
exactly. And he didn't sing. I thought he was going to start singing.
Crucially, as Melanie said, it was one sentence. It was spoken word. It was very uncomfortable.
I was super, but I liked him until that. I thought he had a great body.
Can I ask you another question about Aaron B?
Yeah.
First of all, the fact that it sounds like R&B is very confusing. Aaron B?
Yeah.
Secondly, this has nothing to do with The Bachelorette except me wanting to judge him. Rachel, do you read music?
I do, yeah.
Where do you stand on people who are like very flamboyantly, oh, I don't even read music? Because he said that.
Yeah, he's like, that was my other issue. Good call. He was like, oh, I'm so totally self-taught. I was like, you could stand for a lesson. Like, you'd be fine with this.
I like find it very annoying. Like, why do people brag? Like I was also reading an article about Ed Sheeran's trial recently, and on the stand, he was like, I can't even read music. And I was like, should that be impressive for Ed Sheeran? Like, I think Ed Sheeran maybe should learn to read music. It's just my take.
Here's the thing. Reading music is not like if you're a novelist and you don't know how to read. Like,
I understand that.
Yeah. Reading music is a very specific classically trained thing. If you study theory in college or if you study piano, Melanie can read music. Like if
I can too. I went to music school as an elementary school student.
By the way, I cannot believe that.
I went to Mannes School of Music. Have you ever heard of it? It's in New York.
Wow, Juliet, that's amazing.
Yeah,
I played the piano and the clarinet.
You have lived so many lives.
Yes, she has.
Right?
Yeah, she's an onion.
I've never heard that before, but thank you.
But I think that, no, Ed Sheeran does not need to learn music, but it should not have been a thing on the stands that he's claiming his innocence with, because like you could, like, even if you read music, you're still hearing what the chords were in someone else's thing. Anyway, who cares?
Here's the thing I like Aaron B. He's actually on my list.
Me too.
They obviously like him because he's first with everything. So they want, but the problem is that he's just stiff and he knows I think he's first. Oh, Rachel wants to say something.
I got so excited because I saw a note that said Xavier. Love.
I love Xavier too. I just want to say I think Xavier's got to be final three.
And Dotun. And is it Dotun?
Dotun.
I love Dotun. He's my top.
That's because Dotun is like 7 feet tall, and that's hot.
Wow.
That's a big piece of it, correct?
I love him. I thought they had great chemistry. I'm pissed he didn't get any one-on-one time, but that's because I think he knows his worth and his value. And I don't think he was like trying to be scrappy for time.
Right. He also might be too confident. He's like, well, I don't need to like get it on the first night. It's a slow burner, to use a Love Islandism.
How do you guys know that they didn't get one-on-one time just because they didn't show it? Isn't there a possibility that
he says it?
He says it.
Wow. Okay. And that's the pro versus the novice. Okay. Can we go back to Xavier for a second?
Yeah, I'd love to.
My mom lost it over him. Melanie, Mom
Really?
absolutely lost it. Mom was like, chemistry, I love it. And I wrote, Mom's delighted with him. Mom says, I love a science nerd. Tell me
That's
what
how
you
I
want me-"
feel.
Yeah.
I like the men with jobs. Also, she's a therapist. So
Yep.
for another reason why she probably speaks to this group. It's a very pro therapy group.
Love a therapist.
Me too. And he's a scientist. I feel like that's a great combo together.
A great combo.
Xavier's going far.
Mel, did you like him?
I loved him. He's on my list. Do we think that it's him or Aaron B in that aerial shot of Fiji at the end?
I think it is Xavier. Based on, I interviewed Charity last week and I mentioned both Aaron B and Xavier. And she was much more keen on Xavier than Aaron B.
There it is. There it is.
So that's just my reading of her face. I don't know if that's true, but that was the feeling I got. Also, I think it's hard to come back from that piano thing. It either lands or it doesn't. Like you're either like, I love this guy and this is sexy, or you're like, I have the ick and I can't get past it.
But she seemed to like it, didn't she? Or you think she was just being a good bachelorette?
I think she was faking it. I think she was being a good bachelorette. Because I think, yes.
Guys, we have to talk about Spencer. I have to tell you something.
What the heck was happening?
Wait,
I hate Spencer.
do you remember something about Mary? Do you remember that character Tucker who was like the architect?
Yes.
He was like the pizza delivery guy. I went back and watched like scene by scene. Like he is Tucker. He's Tucker. What was that?
He's so uncomfortable.
One thing I did talk about with Callie is I'm just like, how does he have a child? Like, who's having sex with him? He is very, very awkward. I will say, if he didn't speak, he's pretty handsome, but that's just the second he opens his mouth. I was just like, could this be real or like, what's going on? I was so confused.
Like the acting but then I think he tried to cry at one point. Like the whole thing was very bizarre.
He really reminded me of like an actor. I was just like, is this a crisis actor that's trying to introduce something to make it more interesting?
You guys, my first take on Spencer when he came on, he really scared me. I wrote serial killer ? What is happening?
But do you guys think he's being authentic, or is this just like fake and he's trying to get attention or trying to make a big deal out of the fact he's a father? I mean,
yeah, I think he told her he was a father because he felt like if he told her she was a father, he couldn't get rid of her because she really can't.
She can't.
No.
Yeah, 100% no.
Definitely cannot. I've always have a bias against parents who go on the show.
Same.
I was just going to ask you guys, as parents, like, how do you feel about that?
Horrible. I think it's I just think it's horrible. I can't get over it. I think it's mean. I just feel like there aren't other ways you could date somebody closer to your child than to take like 6 weeks out of your life and like remove yourself from them altogether. Knowing how intense it is to take care of a kid, just like on a day-to-day basis, you disappear for like 6 weeks like that. I think it's nuts.
Yeah.
And I always immediately think they're selfish.
Yeah, I think it's so weird. I'm also like, who's with your kid right now? Maybe the mom. I mean, we don't know. Like, it's probably, I don't know.
I'm
if he's
sure
a widow,
they're not
but
together. Yeah, obviously. But you know, I always think it's hard, even when like on Project Runway. Are you watching the new season of Project Runway, by the way? You guys yet?
I am sorry.
No, it is.
But
okay.
I watched Top Chef. It's similar.
All right.
Parents
So
on Top Chef.
Top Chef. The whatever. I
Sarah.
love her. Yeah, Sarah. And but I can understand that because that's a profession, and that's a big professional device to like launch your career. Yeah. So that's hard. That's a hard decision to watch, but it's like completely understandable because that's life changing. What is this? This is not going to make your profession. This is for fame.
Right.
And not also, for nothing, you're not getting paid.
Right. You're not getting paid.
Yeah.
And it's even if you win, it's probably not going to work out. These couples don't work. Right. And so it's just, I think they should stop casting parents altogether because I also don't like watching them because I'm distracted by the fact that they're a parent.
Me too. I'm like, what is your son or daughter doing today that you're not there for? I agree.
I think that the parents, if they're going to continue casting them, they need to disclose all the questions that the parents asked about how you're going to be in touch with their children to know what kind of parent they are because we need to know more.
Great call.
It's really bizarre. I don't know. The thing is, he's handsome. That's the only reason why he's on the show.
Yeah, but like his eye movement was giving me major serial killer. His like darting back and forth eyes. If he's faking it, Melanie, and if he's like a Tucker, if you're right about that, that's so incredible. I mean, like
that would be great.
That would be amazing. I hope.
I just say the same mannerisms. Like if you go back and watch, they remind me so much of each other. It's so bizarre. I'm so cringe. I mean, I guess that we should move on because I feel like he's low hanging fruit. Like everybody's gonna I don't know who would watch that show and be like, oh my God, Spencer, he's on my top.
Yeah. I mean, obviously he's not, but I don't know. Like I didn't have a lot that I like thought were perfect for Charity, but I don't know. I don't feel like we don't know her well enough yet. So
I have
have
one more
see.
pick. I had one more. I have Taylor, 32. I don't even remember him now, but I wrote 2 stars. Wow. And I wrote Rachel's fave. But and I said, all right, kids, I'm meeting. Oh, I liked, never mind.
Who is? He's the loan officer who's like, hey, meeting your mom for the first time.
Yes. I don't know if they talked, but what I liked was his intro. I thought that was really cute. His like, hey kids, I'm meeting your mom for the first time.
He got eliminated. He's gone.
He kind of looked like Josh too, who's the one who recognized her brother when he was in the costume or whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point. You guys, by the way, we have to tell everybody, the people at home, like a thing that happens in this chat, which is I am right now pretending that I am at the level of these women. Normally on our chat, it is like bubble, 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 and then me chiming in. What do I do, guys? All I do is write
a lot of ha-ha-has. That's not true, though. You guys bring a lot. I think also I just want to mention that the 4th participant in this chat is Rachel's husband, who's the other reality TV fanatic in the group.
Right? I wish that he was here. He basically just makes fun of me saying ha 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 ha.
I think he makes fun of Melanie a lot too.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that, Melanie?
Kevin making fun of me?
Yeah.
I love it. Kevin and I have a great back.
You guys have good banter.
He keeps me humble. Juliet, we have to go back to Nehemiah. We have to talk about the disguise.
I would love to. I mean, it's one of the worst disguises I've ever seen. He looked like Eric LaSalle in Coming to America.
It was like She's All That when like Lainey Boggs takes off the glasses and they're like, oh my God, she's pretty, because the guys' reactions were so funny. They were like, oh my God, it's a big mustache. Could you? Everyone was shocked.
The mustache looked really fake. The hair looked fake as well. But I just want to say, in these guys' defense, if I was on the show and I saw this person behind the bar, I would just be like, who is this weird out of work actor who's bartending tonight?
Totally.
Like,
but they all talked to her about how they were watching her hometown. And it's like, he was a big part of her hometown.
I would not have recognized him. You would have recognized him?
Melanie's really savvy. Melanie's really
good.
Melanie's pretty incredible.
And I think some of them did, and they just didn't want to be, and I think they probably did, and then the show didn't show us them. And I also thought it was really weird that Charity didn't say, like, when he was sitting with her, he was like, I had this really good idea for this disguise. And she's like, oh my God, you've been here this whole time? And it's like, where have you been for the last 6 hours? Like, you didn't walk through the lobby and see,
I know.
you know?
It is true. Like, the fact that she just was like, oh, you were gone. And I don't know, maybe I give the show too much credit, but like, is it possible she didn't know he stayed? Like, it just was really weird.
She was probably being like yanked from person to person, by the way. I was curious, you
guys.
It's
not possible for 6 hours. She didn't see her brother in a creepy costume in the corner. There's 0% chance.
Yeah, probably you're right.
One thing that bothered me, and this is true on Paradise as well with Wells, they trust just regular people to be the bartender. And I just think that as a consumer of alcohol, that sucks. Like, I don't want a drink made by Nehemiah, this random guy. Like, I need to like know if I'm going on The Bachelor or Bachelorette, it's going to be a good drink and like a stiff drink. And I
totally, you know, that's not a tip off. Like when it comes and it's like your order's wrong, that's not a tip off. That it's Nehemiah.
It's like the shittiest drink you've ever had since like you've been in college, basically, and you're trying to just like drink before your RA walks in or something like that. They just like don't take mixology very seriously on this show, and that's a problem to me.
You're right. For a show that wants them to be drunk all the time,
yeah,
like make it more enticing.
Absolutely.
Guys, I know that this has happened for years and years and years. I really cannot fathom that first night lasts until the morning. Every time it happens,
I wish they would stop showing the morning. I wish they would stop showing.
Me so uncomfortable.
Why, Melanie?
Because you know how exhausted they are. You can see people sleeping in the background. You know everyone's makeup is cakey. Everyone has smelly breath. It's like the parent thing. It's distracting. So like I wish they would cover up the windows so we can't see.
Just start earlier.
I think they can't because of the limo arrivals. They have to wait for it to be dark. So they like really need, the timing is like kind of
I
tricky.
don't know. I also worry about the makeup. I was like, how is her makeup still looking fresh? There's no way they're all feeling sexy anymore.
Also, how does she, like, I need to wash my face like maximum 5 hours after putting on makeup. I just hate the way it feels. So how does she make it through? But I think there used to be a shock value to seeing the sunrise. Like, wow, Bachelor's so crazy. The first night goes so long. But now I think everyone just expects it. And it's just the problem with the show, and not to be a Debbie Downer. I've promised I'm going to be upbeat about the Bachelorette and everything, but it's just a little too expected. Right. And I think this happens on almost every reality show. And once you get to know the format, both for the contestants and the viewer, it's just less exciting and less riveting. And that's part of the problem.
So 2 things. I really liked the chuppah in the beginning for the
Me too. I loved it. Yes. It looked
and
great.
I liked it for an unexpected reason. I think that one of my problems is when people come in from the limo and the lights are so bright, you can see everybody's pores. And I'm always thinking to myself, when you're first meeting somebody, that is so unattractive. You don't want to see everyone's pores. So the fact that the chuppah was there made me feel like the lighting was better for her and for him.
Yeah. I think that's a good point. It also just seemed more natural. It's not just a person standing in a driveway, but there's a real a designated spot.
Yeah, agreed.
What was the other reason why you liked it?
I can't remember.
I think those were her 2 reasons. I think pores and breath. No, not breath. Sorry. Melanie and I were fascinated with bad breath when we were younger. We were just not that anyone needs to know this. You could totally edit this out. But we used to we used to spend so much time doing I don't know, little bits in the back seat about we'd do a wrestling match. You remember the smell? And then we pretend that one of the contestants gets close and then breathes on the other and then knocks them out with it.
We're very concerned with breath. And we need to it's very distracting if we think
someone
that
has bad
people
breath.
being close talkers and somebody has bad breath.
I hate close talkers. Do you guys scrape your tongue?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't, but I said I do because it looks like that's the answer that I should say.
You do.
I don't.
You don't? You don't have one of those things that
No.
I don't. I brush my tongue.
Oh.
I do that too, but I'm not militant about it.
Guys, which of these people do you think had good breath? Which of the guys do you think had delicious breath? Because I kept wondering that.
Joey definitely had great breath. Joey, the tennis pro from Hawaii, 100%.
Swear or no? We're not allowed to swear. Are we allowed to swear?
Yeah, of course.
I wrote fuckboy next to Joey and everybody thinks he's amazing.
Whoa.
And it's upsetting to me because now I think my picker's off because everybody thinks he's fabulous.
No, I wouldn't say I think he's fabulous. I just think that he seems like he has good breath. I agree with you. He's a fuckboy. A hot tennis pro who moved to Hawaii from Philadelphia. Of course he's a fuckboy. Big time.
And it's it just kills me when the 23-year-olds are I'm just so ready to settle down. It's you just moved to Hawaii and you're hot and you teach tennis. I take tennis. I know you're not ready to settle down. I'd be offended if you were ready to settle down.
Yeah, good call.
Also, moving to Hawaii is it's just come on. It's a real fuckboy move.
It's a red flag.
It's also instead of moving to Venice, he was I'm just going to take it all the way across America and go to Hawaii as far away as possible, as far away from Philadelphia. I think there's a real Philly energy to him in a good way, but it leads to him being a fuckboy.
Too young. Yeah. He's too young. In 5 years, when he's settled down, he's done with the tennis thing, comes back, does a couple BIPs, I think
he'll crush in BIP.
He's going to crush in BIP,
His curly hair is good for the humidity. He knows how to embrace it. Yeah.
Melanie, what Melanie said, bad hair weather, not for Joey.
No, not Joey. At all.
Not for Joey.
He's got it going great. Who do you think had good breath? He was my first thought on that, but who else?
Melanie, I'd love to hear your take.
God, it's so funny. I wasn't really hung up on this episode.
Because it looked like it was great weather. So you were
because I just assume I trust and believe that because they know that they're going to go in for a kiss on a one-on a sit down. I'm trusting that everyone's spritzing and spraying.
Oh my God.
Banaka is allowed?
I think it's not.
First of all, I haven't seen Banaka in years, so I don't know if it exists. But
don't you think they're tossing a mint or something?
I don't know.
But I didn't see much gum.
Well, gum's not allowed on TV. That's very unseemly. Obviously, you can't chew gum on TV.
Absolutely right. That was a poor point on my part.
But I mean, I hope they have mints. If not, then that sucks for charity. This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 years resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements, so many other couples we didn't see them coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code Visible24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. She made out a lot more than I was expecting. I was like,
And
oh,
she
okay, girl.
in. She initiated.
Yes. Multiple
But I
times.
think, some of it I thought was like, she was nervous. Like, it's kind of awkward. 2 people are sitting there. Somebody has a camera in your face. And it's like, how do you wrap it up when you're done?
Right.
And part of me thinks that like, there are certain times where she's like, okay, we're done. Okay. And so she was leaning in to be like, okay, now we're done. Like, just part of her being a great bachelorette.
Right.
I don't know.
Mom's take was that Mom goes, oh, she's kissing a lot. And then Mom's take was that she's like, oh, I guess she's trying out the litter or something like that. She said some comment like she wants to see what's out there. She was kissing a lot, though, a lot more than I thought for like a Southern belle.
I think because we didn't see her that much on Zach's season, I had this impression that she was going to be like very like chaste and like very like prim and proper, but I don't think she is in a good way. And like, I think she seems more fun and more loose than that. And I'm excited about that fact, actually.
You know who she reminds me of a little bit? Elizabeth Banks, her laugh.
Oh, interesting.
Like, especially from Wet Hot American Summer, how she's like, you know, like that big, throaty, fun laugh. I think that Charity can make any situation like feel comfortable. Like she's someone that, you know what I mean? Like even Spencer,
Totally.
She's like sitting there.
She puts
being
people
like,
at ease.
Yeah.
Totally. She's so equipped for this position.
Yeah, it's like she can overcome bad breath.
Right.
What are some of the other factors you're thinking about when you're watching these guys? Like, what are some of your other like personal, like, I need to know, like bad breath, what kind of shoes they're wearing? One thing we didn't get to see a lot of, who's wearing socks. I prefer a man to wear socks with their suit. And I like to know about that. And usually we can see it, but we didn't this time.
Why didn't we see it this time?
I don't know. Maybe because they were actually wearing socks, or maybe their pants were longer. I don't know. Maybe men's fashion has improved. But the phase of the Bachelorette where like all these guys got out of the limo and their pants didn't hit their ankle, and we just could see so much of their bottom leg. I was just like, no, this is not it for me. Please put on socks.
I think I'm noticing that on Love Island too. I think we're moving away from like the tight white short crop jeans on men. And so like that goes along with the no sock thing. I think we're moving away from that trend.
I have noticed that socks are obviously back, like gym socks and whatever with your New Balances, you know?
Yeah.
And your bike shorts. I mean, I'm happy about it. I'm as a sock girl.
Melanie actually is really upping her sock game. Do you have those on right now? I was pretty.
I
saw them on your Instagram. I was really.
I don't, but they're back in.
Are they really? Can you get me some when I come?
I'll send you some through.
Where do you get your socks?
You can get, so like APL makes good ones. Aloe makes good ones. You can get them on Amazon.
Aloe is the new sign of stealth wealth and quiet luxury. So shout out to Melanie. Also, APL, I just went to TJ Maxx today for just a walk around. I didn't have a lot of time out of the house yesterday because I had a lot of work. And I was like, oh, I just need to like be among people. So naturally I went to TJ Maxx. I'm on Cape Cod right now.
Oh, you are? I'm jealous. I love it.
Jealous.
They had a lot of APL sneakers and I was shocked. I was like, what a come up for TJ Maxx.
Wait, they did?
I don't even know where to get them. Apparently it's TJ Maxx.
It was a really well stocked TJ Maxx day. You never know what you're going to get when you walk in there. Honestly, that would be a great bachelor date. Like seeing what interests someone at TJ Maxx. Cause like, do you go to the home goods section? Do you go to like the outerwear? Me, I like to buy sunscreen there. It's very cheap. It's like $7 versus $20.
I usually go to like Walgreens for my cheap shops, but like
that's not cheap.
I guess that I sound really out of touch. Like from Arrested Development when she's like, how much does a banana cost? $10?
How much? Yeah, it's the best. Anyway.
I'm like, Rachel, Walgreens closed like for good.
Socks are back is the point
Not
of this
in LA.
conversation.
Okay.
Wait, I want to do like a production question for Juliet.
Okay.
Because do you think like watching Love Island and how like it's set up with those cameras all over the place,
Mm-hmm.
do you think that people would like watching The Bachelor more if they would just put those cameras all over the place and stopped with like the handheld, overproduced, like weird
Yes.
shots? We could feel like voyeurs again.
Yes, absolutely. I definitely think so.
Who do we tell?
I think here's the thing. I think that all reality TV needs to move back towards the real world. Let's move back to throwing random people into confined spaces and just seeing what happens. Like, so let's have faith in humanity that they will act crazy enough on their own that we don't need to overproduce it. And I have faith in humanity like that. I've been alive for the last few years and it's not been good. So I'm hopeful, I think it would be
you can tell that
so
the
much
Bachelor
better.
producers don't have faith in the love story because they're throwing in like weird things that like are gimmicky, like the Nehemiah's weird disguise. And it's like, I'd so much rather just watch like the interactions of the people.
Yeah.
Because like, I'm sure, like when you have a camera in your face, people act so differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when it's so people are so much more natural. Like when I used to work on a TV show and we'd be like 3, 2, 1 and you're rolling, all of a sudden, like people act so differently. And like the good stuff is like when the cameras are down. So it's
Of course, yeah.
know that the camera's in their face, they're acting so bizarre.
Wow. I love
Definitely.
it.
Also,
I
like
love
they're
it.
living in the mansion, right? The show does not own the mansion, but they've rented it out for so long. Like I'm sure they could figure it out.
Yeah.
If they outfitted the mansion with cameras in a different way, it would just be so interesting. Plus, we would get to see the space. One of the reasons Love Island is also fun is because you get really familiar with the villa. And that was true of the real world too. Like they would do like the house reveal and like, where do they live? And they would, in the challenge and they would like run to get their beds or whatever. Like the physical space is actually part of it. And so they should play that up a little bit more. But yeah, I think it would be, that was the one thing I liked about the Nehemiah bartender thing is seeing the guys act more naturally, talking to each other. Like show more conversations among the contestants where they're not talking about the lead. Like when they're just having a good time.
but also when you know that they don't think that they have a camera on them.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the good stuff. I don't even care about their interactions when they're like, you can tell there's a producer behind the camera being like, talk about this. It's like, you want to see what they're saying to each other when they think they're not mic'd or they're like in the side room or like, I think that's just why we love Love Island so much.
Yeah.
At what point, you guys, do you think that starts to get more comfortable for them in the season? And like, does the actual, like, because at some point they are developing real feelings, even with a camera in front of them. I've always been confused about that. I'm like, why don't these relationships last? Is it because you're acting differently and in front of the camera, and so you're falling in love with the person with like, is it not really the person you're falling in love with? You know what I mean? Like, and everything's different all of a sudden? Or I guess there's two questions bundled in one.
I think that relationships don't last because they come together under like such, duress that it's like, it's not actually who they are. But also like relationships have a lot of like real life that get in the way, and they don't have any of the skills to overcome it together because they have not like experienced life together. They've only experienced The Bachelor. So like if you disagree on like something like fundamental, you like don't have, also like if you're not living near each other, it's hard to overcome that.
What if they did it? What if they took the format and then added in the part of Love is Blind where you have to live together? They take the couple. Okay, you picked this one person. Now you're going to go reality style for 6 months and live together in an apartment. And at the end of it, you're going to meet at the altar and you're going to decide in front of the whole entire world.
You just described Love is Blind.
But
it's a great show. So good idea.
She's picking them based on what they look like. Not blind. She's looking at them.
Love is Not Blind is the name of your television show.
We're going to start loving The Bachelor again. I guess we can't just keep watching it, trying to change it. It's just really hard.
Well, I will say that's
right.
a hard part of the show is I feel like a lot of people feel that way. Like I'm excited to watch Charity, and I actually like, I'm like, yes, go back to being more classic and like fewer gimmicks and like fewer guys just being like, and women just like being in it for fame. They need more just like random people
Normal
who are
people
like
with real jobs.
And also who are like, I want to reset on life. I have a real job, but I'm bored. So like, I'm going to do something fun and just like say, fuck it. That's why Xavier's so appealing. It's like, he's got a life to go back to, but he wants to like mix it up. But Dr. Joe is like that too, where you're like, oh, you're like a real like interesting person and you're looking for an adventure. And so great.
Right. There was no like weird lower thirds about like, you know, chicken lover or like, you know,
twin or like pantsapreneur. Yeah.
Oh God, the twins. Who was that season? I hated those guys.
That was Joey and something.
Yeah.
Jeff, John,
so silly.
Some other J name.
Yeah.
Who do you guys think wins? Who's your pick to win? For me, it's Xavier.
I also have Xavier. I think that she really develops a big relationship with Joey, though. I think there's something there for her and him. And then I think she might like.
I feel like Dotun's going far. I feel like I've seen him in a lot of the.
Yeah, he is. He's not. What about Tanner? And I have Tanner for some reason. I don't know why on my list. And I also have John.
John is really cute. John is the half Chinese person. Yes, he's a data scientist. I have a crush on him.
She likes him.
I have a crush on him. He's my top pick for me, not for Charity. But I'm interested. So, John, call me.
What about Brayden? Why do none of us think Brayden is going far?
No,
we know he goes.
The guys clearly hate him. It's a bad sign.
Guys hate him, and he has grandma earrings, and like
he's a travel nurse, and I don't even know what that is. After so many travel nurses I've seen come and go, I still don't understand what is a travel nurse.
There was a time where I wanted to give travel nurses the benefit of the doubt because like we were in the throes of COVID, and I was like, oh, that's so nice. We just like we really need nurses available to like help wherever it's a hot spot. But I've moved on. I'm no longer giving travel nurses the benefit of the doubt. There's too many on this show.
Give him a bad name.
There's too many on this show.
Don't they live in their van?
Van life nurse, yeah. Hashtag van life.
Those two things. I used to live in a van around the country. Those two things don't seem congruent to me.
It's a little bit different. Side note, did you watch Daisy Jones, Rachel?
100%.
Did you like it?
I loved it. Kevin did have some good points that like there were some tropes in there, like things that were happening. Like no one would ever in a songwriting session just like throw off their clothes and be like, oh, I've written the verse. Now I'm going to get naked and go into school. Like I can't even imagine that. That's like not a thing. We're like actually professional. We're sitting there like with a structured amount of time. Like you're not just like getting completely fucked up during a writing session.
Make that studio session count. Yeah. It's expensive.
Yeah. Like you're not exactly. So that was a little ridiculous, but I really liked it. And I'm assuming everyone's seen it. Spoiler alert. I really liked the end reveal of why they were talking to the camera. I felt a little uncomfortable about them breaking the third wall the whole time until I understood the mechanism at the end.
I read the book. Did you see the show, Melanie? Too busy with Dance Moms?
I was really just knee deep in like season 25 of Love Island. My marriage was suffering and I was watching every single night. So I don't need another show. But my mother-in-law told me to watch it, and she watches a lot of TV, so I feel like I should watch it.
Daisy Jones, she told you to watch it? I think you'd like it, Melanie, and I also think because you've seen the music industry so up close from me, and it like you have found so much about it so awkward, I think that you would really love like the awkward interactions of a lot of it.
I don't love scripted television.
You don't at all?
Wow.
Listen, that's not true. I will watch The Last Kingdom. I'll watch
Succession.
I'll watch if I'll really get like into like an HBO show or like some dragon show. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't love watching like I don't love watching like that kind of. I really just prefer
soap opera. I have not heard anyone other than my own mother say, well, I watched The Last Kingdom. I mean, you might be the only one.
Have you not watched The Last Kingdom?
I watched The Last Kingdom.
Oh, okay. Great.
I am going to go, from somebody who watches a lot of television, I'm going on the record. I think it is one of the best shows of all time.
I'm going to watch it. I love British TV, but I didn't know.
I love John Boutros, but my only thing is that it devolves at the end. I couldn't finish it, Mel. I couldn't get through the last season. Could you?
Yeah, I definitely can. Destiny is all.
Who else is going far? So we got
Xavier,
we got Dotun and Xavier.
Joey, I think.
I don't think Joey's going that far.
Cool.
I don't see them connecting. I think he seems like he's here for a good time, not a long time.
Okay.
To quote the great Aubrey Drake Graham.
Who do we think heartbreaks her? Do we think that's
Great question.
She says heartbroken. What do we think?
Double clap.
Yes, Melanie.
I don't know. Maybe Dotun. He seems like a heartbreaker.
Mm-hmm.
And like
I
And they're downplaying him right now.
I also could see it being
Xavier.
Yeah, no, I could see it being who's the guy, Brayden.
No, I think she's going to turn on him. No, I think she'll turn on him. And then she'll be like, my brother was right.
I could see it being the commercial diver, John Henry.
John Henry?
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sorry. This is really my personality in our chat.
More the timely diver. Do you think he's been really fixated on the submersible last week or so?
Okay. Maybe it's Tanner. Maybe Tanner
I can see that.
I
like Tanner too.
He had the T for Tanner towel.
I love a monogram, so that's good by me.
She says she likes Matt Rife. She said that that's one of her celebrity crushes, and Michael B. Jordan. So we know that. I think Tanner could go far because I think he kind of has that pretty boy look.
I asked her like who to keep an eye on. She mentioned Tanner. She couldn't like say anything, but I was just like, just give me some people to like that you know.
Have so much more information than us.
She looked engaged, didn't she? Did she look engaged?
She did. Yeah. She seems happy. She had like a glow. She just seemed like relaxed. She didn't seem stressed. She seems happy.
This might be the season that it starts to turn around, you know? It might actually work this time.
The Bachelorettes have much better luck. JoJo still with Jordan. Rachel still with Brian.
Yep.
Des still with her second choice. Who did she pick? His name was Chris.
I just realized that Adrian is a Taurus. I think she is. Oh no, never mind. She needs an Aquarius.
Oh,
she needs an Aquarius, and said never mind. Sorry, false alarm.
Why does she need an Aquarius?
What is she?
She needs somebody who's spontaneous, somebody who is a little off the beaten path.
Is she a Capricorn? What is she?
She is a cat. Is she a Capricorn? I forget.
Charity Lawson birthday. I'm an Aquarius, so maybe she and I could be friends.
My daughter's an Aquarius. I love
December
Aquarii.
30th, 1995.
Capricorn.
The Capricorn.
So what makes a good match for a Capricorn?
Melanie's right. Spontaneity, whimsy.
A little bit off the beaten path, a little bit weird, a little bit eccentric, somebody who loves to travel. But that's if she needs an Aquarius rising. And I think isn't Brayden's an Aquarius rising. Oh, she needs a Libra. Oh, the producers are like, she needs a Libra. But TikTok said she needs an Aquarius rising. So I'm going to go with TikTok.
What does Aquarius rising mean? What does rising mean in a star sign?
I think it's your moon sign. Your sun sign is your thing you're born in. And then your moon sign, this is not helping Melanie believe that I've come back to Earth. your rising sign.
I brought it up. I'm just as guilty.
I've never understood that. I don't really understand astrology. And I feel like that's also another like TikTok thing that's come on really strong. Socks and astrology. So it sounds like it's your time to shine, Melanie. Both up your alley.
Melanie has so many talents. All I want is for her to be a regular on this show because she has watched so much reality TV. And the information needs to go somewhere.
It has to go somewhere.
It has to be for something.
I watch so much television. And Juliet makes me feel like it's normal. Because Juliet wakes up in the morning.
Yes, I wake up and watch Love Island. I wake up, I get coffee, and then I watch Love Island. It's a great way to start the day. I'm not joking. It's like checking in with the friend group. It's like, what have you guys been up to overnight? Oh, cool. So yeah.
Wow.
It's like, honestly, like maybe I'm lonely, but it's like having friends that you check in with in the morning.
That's cool. I agree. I think that's cool. I journal about my feelings. I can't judge you. Whatever. I'm crying every morning. You guys, I want to just say that I'm really proud of our friend group and our chat, and that this has gone on for so long.
I mean, you guys have embraced me. You're sisters. You're stuck with each other. But me, I'm just a rando who likes TV. So thanks for having me. Honestly,
I didn't know back in the day. I didn't know that you had a podcast. And so when Rachel was like, my friend knows a lot about the challenge, I was like, prove it. And then we started talking, and I was like, oh, she does know a lot about the challenge. You were like, yeah, 'cause she has a podcast, but I didn't know that.
Well, there we are. Yeah, Kevin's the fan.
Or kindred.
Us.
Yeah, because she reminded me how we met, Juliet. That you tweeted me something about like fight song, and then like Kevin was like, write her back. Anyway.
And now here we are, many, many years later. Thank you both so much for joining me. Rachel has a heart out, so we have to go. Melanie and Rachel, I hope you'll both be back together and separate. You know, you're welcome at all times. Do
you think that we should be together? I think our voices are too similar.
No, I don't know. It ended up being different for me. I think it's because I hadn't had Melanie on the pod before. So when she started talking, I was like, oh, you sound like Rachel. But Anyway, it was great to have you both. Thank you so much to Jade for producing and for all the extra info we needed along the way.
Thank you guys.
Of course, check out Rachel on Spotify. Check out her new tune, Girls, or My Favorite Soldiers. And yeah, Melanie, I don't know what to say about you, but I'm just so happy you're here.
I'll talk to you on the Pretty Girls chat.
Talk to you guys soon. Thanks so much.